I am taking a classic steak and beet salad and making it easy for you to make at home. This salad is worthy of any bistro. A marinated steak that has been grilled to perfection. The beets are quickly dressed in some olive oil, salt, and pepper, grilled right alongside that steak. And then everything comes together with a quick dressing over those warmed beets. Put over lettuce with the sliced steak. This couldn't get any easier. And it's all coming up on today's Wise Guide. A steak and beet salad is one of those things that you see at a lot of restaurants, and I think anymore, a lot of us just kind of overlook it thinking, either that's overdone, or 2, I hate beets, or 3, why would I just want a salad when I'm really hungry? All those 3 things are usually true, but this one is delicious. It has a ton of flavor and it's easy. You can make it at home. It is the perfect lunch or supper. I love putting this meal together because it encompasses one of the best things in the summer, the grill. All that flavor is infused into the beets and the steak. What could be better than a perfectly grilled meal? To start, you just want to marinate your steak. I'm choosing flank steak. 1, it is reasonably priced, especially when you compare it to some other cuts of beef. But 2, it's also delicious and cut really thin, so it sears really quickly. You just want to make sure you notice where the graining is. Whatever way that runs, you want to cut it opposite or horizontal to that grain. That way it's going to make it really tender. To marinate the steak, just in a large Ziploc bag, pour together your olive oil, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, red wine vinegar, some chopped parsley, dry mustard, a couple garlic cloves. Just cut off the ends, smash them with your knife, and then peel them. That smashing is really gonna help infuse it all with the garlic flavor. A little bit of fresh lemon juice. I'm just squeezing the lemon juice right through my hand to catch any of those seeds, because yeah, even if you don't think you see the seeds, there are always a couple seeds that will pop in there if you don't catch them. Now add your steak. Start with the first piece, make sure it's laying in there nicely, and then add the second piece on top. Zip up the bag, leave a little opening just so you can press out all the air, and then zip it shut. Just smush it around, make sure that marinade is really coating it all. Getting that extra air out ensures that the marinade is going over all of the meat. That way there's no air pockets that it can't get to. Place it on a plate just in case it leaks a little bit, and then right into your fridge. This can marinate anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, and I like to go for that 2-hour mark. Marinade doesn't really go in that deep to the meat. It also doesn't really impart that much extra moisture, but on a thin cut of flake steak, it really coats it well, adds a little bit of oil, and gives just a hint of that flavor to the outside, which I think makes a big difference for this cut. When it's about done marinating, you can get your beets ready. Just cut off the ends, especially if you buy them in the store. They're gonna have been harvested a while ago and kind of dried out, so make sure to cut off any of the bad portions or the root portion and just set it aside. Slice them in half and then just make wedges out of them. I just kind of like bite-sized pieces that you can pick up with a fork. And do it somewhat thin because these can take quite a while to cook, and that way you get a lot of surfaces that are gonna get that good charred flavor on them. Put them right into a large bowl. When you have them all cut up, you can just drizzle on some olive oil and then salt and pepper. Extremely simple. The flavor is gonna come from that grill. Stir it up, and then take your meat out of the fridge and out of the plastic bag. Just make sure none of those pieces of garlic or any of the marinade is sticking on it too much. Let it drip out a little bit and set it on a pan. At this point, I like to salt and pepper my meat. That way you know exactly how much salt and pepper you're putting on it, and steak can really take a lot of salt and pepper. You really want to impart that flavor right at the end, so sprinkle both sides generously with salt and pepper. And then take your beets out to start grilling. Have your grill heating on high. You wanna make sure, just like an oven, your grill is preheating. It's really good and hot, because if it isn't, you're not gonna get a good sear when you put anything on. You wanna start with just the beets, because they're gonna take close to an hour to grill. Yeah, that's right, they take a little bit of time, but even if you do them in the oven, they take quite a while. So put your grill rack on, whatever you use to cook vegetables in. I just have a nice grill pan that I like. Place it on the grill for about 10 minutes so it gets good and hot. Pour your beets right on top of that grill pan and then just kind of spread them out to make sure they're somewhat even. close the lid and let them grill. Seriously, it's easy and it smells delicious, so all your neighbors are gonna be extremely jealous and probably wanna come over, which if you don't like your neighbors isn't maybe the best thing, but it's a good, just common thing to have people over. So, happy neighbors! Every so often you can just check your beets, stir them around a little bit, just make sure they're getting evenly cooked. Don't worry, it's gonna be really hot on the grill, so I'm sure they are. You can taste one too if you want to. I mean, I taste as I go. And you don't have to worry about cross-contamination because it's just beets, oil, salt, and pepper. When your beets are just beginning to get tender, you can sear off your meat. Bring it out of the house because you don't want it to sit in the hot sun that whole time, but it is good to be at room temperature before you put it on the grill. Place the steak on the grill over high heat until it's well seared on both sides. I like to get mine to about a rare to medium rare temperature because that's where you really get the flavor from the steak. For me, that usually takes about 8 to 10 minutes per side. If you like yours a little bit more done, it's gonna take a little bit longer. You can do it with a thermometer if you want. A rare steak is gonna be around 120 and then around 130 for medium rare to medium. When your steak is grilled to your liking on both sides, you can remove it onto a clean pan and let it rest for at least 15 to 20 minutes before you slice it. You want those juices to all go back inside and redistribute. If you cut it right now, the juices would go everywhere and it would be a dry steak. Remove your beets right back into a bowl. You can use the same bowl because it's no contamination. As your meat is resting, you can start finishing up your beets. Slice up a red onion really thinly, sprinkle it on top. And then instead of making a whole separate dressing putting it on, I just like to dress my beets and that becomes the dressing for the whole salad. A little bit of apple cider vinegar, some honey, it really brings out the sweetness of the beets and balances everything out. Some Dijon mustard, and some thyme. Just strip them off the leaves. If you get a little bit of stem, it's okay. The small stems are really tender. Stir that around until it's really well combined and coated, and then you can assemble your salads. Start with your favorite lettuce. I like to use a mixture of some good butter lettuce and arugula. The arugula has a really peppery bite and the butter lettuce a little bit more on the sweet side. It's a perfect combination. Top it with some beets and that dressing. And then slice up your steak and make sure to go horizontal to the grain. That is gonna make sure it is tender. I like to do it rather thinly, no more than ½ inch. I probably go more like 1/4. That way it's really easy to cut with even a fork. Put it right on top of all those beets and you are almost ready to go. Finish it with some blue cheese crumbled on top. I like that sharpness of the blue cheese to finish it all and bring it all together. This salad is perfect for any summer dinner. Delicious tender steak, amazing beets dressed perfectly on top of your favorite lettuce. Guys, seriously, this is my go-to summer staple. If you can't wait to make the salad, make sure to like, share, subscribe, because I want to hear from you and know how much you're enjoying this. Get out there and start grilling.